All right. So the last track on our EP is called Old Haunts. And
This one was different actually than all of the other ones, because I think all of the other ones started with an Against the Clock. This one didn't. This was actually something I had just gotten my bass, and I was just testing out. Like, I had this very specific idea about like, oh, when I get an electric bass, like, I want to have this very specific kind of post-punk, distortion-y bass sound. And so I remember bringing it into Ableton and just testing out different like distortions and, amplifier sounds. And so in doing so, I was just like, I had the bass up and I would play a riff and just whatever. And so what you actually hear on Old Haunts, I created all of that, like the backing track and everything, within probably like 5 minutes, because it was just something very simple, and that's why the song is kind of looped and simple, and so short. But I came up with all of this very, very quickly. I played the bass one take. I will say, I took a sleeping pill. I have a sleeping pill that I take every night just to make sure that I actually go to sleep, because my mind's just
because otherwise you would not. You
always
would not
racing.
stop working on stuff.
Yeah, I'm always just bing, 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 just going, going, going. So I have to take this over-the-counter sleep aid. And so at this point, it was like 4 a.m., 4:30, and I was like just falling asleep. And I was like, I'm just going to play the bass really quickly so I can listen to this at work tomorrow. And it was just this instrumental thing. And again, like 2 minutes, played it all in one take, wasn't thinking anything of it. And so it sat in a folder for a little bit. I sent it to Lucia, not thinking they were going to think anything of it because it seemed so simple. And lo and behold, you loved it.
Oh no, I got it, and I was like, first of all, it's called Old Haunts. I was like, I already had like this voice memo of a just a cappella recording I'd done with a friend.
This is very cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yes, on my birthday several years ago, I was in one of my friend's hot tubs, and I was with one of my other close friends, my friend Shanti, who is one of my favorite like all-time vocalists and musicians. And
love Shanti.
So we were just like, like having a good time celebrating a birthday, I guess. And I started singing just like pretty much the lines that are in this track, like
got what I wanted, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got what I wanted, lost what I wanted, da 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 da. Anyway, so and then Shanti was like in the background just kind of riffing and like harmonizing. And this was like years ago, and I had saved this voice memo because I was just recording. I was like, I need to record this and it will be a song one day. And this was like years ago. And then as soon as I got like Old Haunts, and I think in the lyrics it was like, I'm haunted. And, that was just when, we were hanging out just a cappella doing music and harmonizing together. And as soon as I heard like that, like 5 minutes of bass that you played on your brand new bass that we were so excited for you to get.
Yeah.
And like my eyes lit up, and I immediately like went through like my 600 voice memos. I was like, okay, where's my birthday and what year?
Yeah.
And I found it, and I was like, it's perfect.
You can curse.
Oh yeah, I guess, yeah.
No, okay, but I will say, because then I had no idea that Lucia had any like attraction to this track, but they were up super late. I think you had to go to like some kind of wine meeting for your work or something, and it was like 9 a.m. or something. And I remember they sent me a voice message. We send voice messages back and forth to each other every single day. And so you were like, okay, I'm still awake, and I sent you a present. It's like I sent you a bunch of vocal takes for that Old Haunts track. And I was like, oh, Old Haunts, cool. And you're like, I did a lot of crazy stuff on it, so you're not going to like it. There's too many ideas. And that's not the case at all. It was so good. In fact, almost everything you hear is pretty much from the vocal takes that they sent me. I didn't really do much. I kind of just panned all the vocals, and yeah, like it was pretty much perfect immediately, at least in my opinion.
No, well, yeah. And then I think a few days later, like after you maybe like made, I don't know, mix things in a little bit better, because I probably just sent you some very unmixed vocals. But
They were just
then
pretty
I was
much
like-
dry tracks. Yeah.
I was like, well, actually, okay, actually they are good.
And they were
I'm
probably-
I am not recording them again because
yeah,
they
no,
are
and you
perfect.
shouldn't. You definitely shouldn't. I will say, you really, really like the opening of this because it's like that. You know, like this.
Well,
very
yeah, because that was
reversed-
another night. I was like in my studio trying to be productive,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just start fucking around trying to learn how to like chop vocals up and then do weird stuff, reverse and
Yeah.
reverse again, and just be silly. And then I was like, wait, actually, I was like, don't change this.
No, and I mean, all I did was, I think I just, I added like a rumble underneath it because I was like, it's
Yes,
such a cool opening that it's just like, it's creepy, but it kind of sets a scene. And I always like that opening too. But that was something
Yeah.
that you completely created.
Well, it's still like, it's still like me trying to learn how to like chop and affect vocals, but then also like once I hear, I'm like, okay, it's kind of creepy, and yes,
And I will
I
say,
like it, so don't change it.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad it didn't need to.
Out of all
As
your-
you can hear, like it didn't need to be changed. I will say though that when I was, so the original like basic track of it, there was only the bass, guitar. It was the sort of like layered bass synth that goes along with it, and then just very minimal drums. Very minimal. So there wasn't much going on. So I was like, okay, this song is great as is. All I need to do is sort of like, the phrase I kept saying is like, I want to stay out of the way of it and just kind of like beef it up a little bit more. So I knew I would add in some Voyager samples and some more drums. And then I knew I wanted electric guitars to kind of like, just kind of fill it in a little bit more. And then vocally, I was like, I don't really need to have any of my voice on there officially, but I do want my voice on there
Your
to
harmony,
match yours.
Your
yeah.
harmony that it took me forever to realize that was not me singing.
Yeah,
and even
yeah.
after you told me, I could not hear it for.
Yeah,
so I had my
yeah.
ear right next to the speaker monitor. I was like, wait, that is Austin. Like
I did my best to
so
try
impressed.
and mimic Lucia's voice. So their voice is
high
panned.
harmony.
Yeah, their voice is panned in one ear, and I'm always panned in the other. We're completely mimicking what they sound like because I didn't want it to be like the usual thing where I do the speak kind of sing thing. This time I was like, I want this song to kind of flow really well, and so I just wanted to try and like mimic your voice. And then specifically there's this one harmony line like now I live with this. When I do that high vocal harmony there, I do sound like Lucia. Like they had no idea that it was actually my voice for a long time. So I love that you
Fun
never
fact,
knew.
that is my favorite part of the album.
I will say this song, there's such a cool, like, well, for lack of a better term, there's a haunting quality to it. But I like it. And I think this is our most like post-punk / like dark wavy song outside of like, well, Dark Space has moments of it, but this one, I remember we both were like, this is what the next sort of like EP or album should sound like, something closer to this in Dark Space. So I just love it. I think it's a great closing track for us.
Yeah, and I feel like also it's just kind of like simple. It's fucking like to the point.
There's so much emotion in it. I think that's what I like a lot about it. So
And-
much emotion.
And we could have, I'm sure, expanded and added extra like
Yeah.
verses, but we're like, no,
It's perfect as is. My whole thing is I really just don't want to fall into the trap of like overproduction. And
well,
so
and
I
especially
think,
for this EP, that's how the whole thing ran, and that's especially how it should like. finish,
my
you know?
my goal was simplicity and trying to play around with minimalism as much as I could. Obviously, certain songs don't call for that, but staying
certain
out of the
ones.
way of the song, I think is or has been my North Star for this.
No,
It's a good
you've
track.
been my North Star.
Aw.
Bye.
But yeah, that's our EP, Static. Just really, really glad that it came together the way that it did. I love these songs so much, and I love you.
I love you. You did great.
Thanks.
Great job.
Guess we can turn the TV off.
That's what I wanted, haunted. That's what I wanted, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted, haunted.